Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of It's Time to Lead Different, an active discussion, a live stream podcast between myself, Collin Dayley, the CEO of the Circle Leader, and my partner in I wouldn't say crime, I'd say partner in
I can't say
evolution. No, partner in evolution.
Partner in evolution.
Yeah, Dave Clare, CEO and founder of Circle Leadership Global. And today we wanted to have a conversation about what it means to be a modern leader, what that looks like, and kind of where and how the evolution of leadership is progressing, and maybe some tips and tricks and ideas that you as a listener, a viewer can, and as a leader, can actually take back to your teams and implement immediately. So Dave, maybe we should start with, and I was thinking maybe we should start with, from a philosophical approach, how you and I both think about leadership and how we define leadership, and then maybe we can move in, to the conversation about what the modern leader looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with some of our clients today here, this is the first time that you and I have been in the same continent and country to do a live stream, since I'm now in the USA right now here in Dallas, and we were talking about leadership and what does leadership mean, and I think it's always great with we talking about it's time to lead different, but what does leadership actually mean? So when a lot of people will tell you leadership, the answers we usually get when we ask that question are really around getting a group of people to achieve something, to be inspirational, to, have a vision, and various other forms of what leadership means. Not what does it look like, but what does it mean? And right. We've always had definition that, I don't remember when I crafted it, but I got asked, you talk all about leadership, Dave, but so what's your definition of leadership? And then that's when I wrote down what we'll share right now, which is leadership's all about helping other people become the best version of themselves to do their life's best work while in your care and beyond. Mm-hmm. That is, I might even put that in the chat here, but that definition well. So talk to us while I type it in here, Collin.
Yeah. So I really love that definition. It's one of the things that differentiates our philosophy of leadership from from all others, which is that if you break that statement down, so it's about helping other people, being of service to other people first of all. So it's a service orientation, in service of other people to help them actually become. And there's a process there, which I think we're going to talk about a little bit today.
Yeah,
there's a process of growth and of evolution and of becoming. And in this case, we're helping them focus on becoming the best versions of themselves. And when we think about that, that's not just their work selves, but themselves as human beings. So that encompasses that whole component of the human that we're in relationship with as a leader. And then the second part of that then is to actually help them take that new version of themselves, and as they are becoming that, to actually do work that is, really highly impactful, and that helps them do the best work that they can possibly do, which is, of course, in alignment with your vision and goals and the outcomes that you're working and striving to achieve. So I do think it's kind of interesting there that it's less specific KPI and outcome oriented and more focused on becoming. It's the inner world and building capacity rather than building capability or efficiency or effectiveness, right? So that's kind of my point of view. And as I sort of break down that statement, right, that our definition of leadership is to help others become the best version of themselves so they can do their life's best work while they're in our care and beyond. And I'll let you talk about while they're in our care and beyond a little bit. Yeah. What do you think about that?
The two key fundamentals. The first part, of course, then is that you don't need a position or title to demonstrate leadership, right? So when we talk about creating all-around leadership, not top-down leadership in an organization, and when an organization where people answer to something first, not to someone. But the second part, and we'll get into all those in a moment, the second part is the really interesting one. It's where in your care and beyond, it means I care about you as a human being first and an employee second. How can I be interested in you becoming the best version of yourself so you can do your life's best work while you're in my care and beyond, without actually caring about you as a human being? Right. And I was talking this, like, as a CEO of an organization, it's, yes, of course you have goals, dreams, hopes, aspirations, and desires, but it's because you're the CEO, you're the only one who has those. Are we saying that the human beings in our organization don't have those? That's why they have a job instead? It's the fact that every single human has hopes, dreams, aspirations, desires, you name it, goals. And if we can help you or help you find a way while you're here to do, to achieve those things or get you on the path towards those things, I know you'll do great work while you're here. So why would I want to help you and look at you as a human being first and an employee second?
Yeah.
So, the two key parts of our definition. One is you don't need a position or title, and two, it means you're a human being first and an employee second. I don't care about you just while you're at work. I care about you. And I care about you doing great work here.
Yeah.
That's the differentiator. When you think about our process, so that's, our definition of leadership, and and that's actually based on, as our process for human behavior. Like everything that we've done is stemmed from looking at how humans evolve, and our definition of leadership is tied directly to that process.
Right. Yeah. Which I'd like us to go walk through that. That'd be, I think, a phenomenal exercise and a good reminder. Couple of things I want to not differentiate, but kind of highlight out of what you just said there is, the shift from viewing your people as resources, and first viewing them as humans, and then recognizing the similarities between yourself as a leader and them as employees. Talk to me a little bit about, in your experience, how you what are some of the ways that we can that leaders can actually maybe shift their thinking, or some of the questions they can ask themselves, or some of the ways that might help them shift that sort of point of view, and to get more on that that human level, that human connection level, versus a transactional level. Does that make sense? And what's your experience?
Do you want me to run through the process, or you want me to just speak to it?
You know what? I think let's run through the process. If you think, I guess I'm just trying to explore some of the fringes of of what's going on, and just to give our viewers and listeners that maybe some cues on where there might be a shift in thinking, right? And and then maybe we should just dive into the model, and it'll come out of that. So let's do that.
Well, I can definitely talk to it beforehand. Like, it'll take us straight. It might be a great segue anyway. When you look at people transactionally, you're just looking at behavior, right? When you're looking at them relationally, you're looking at helping the person, how they think, right? Or their the attitude, and how you relate to those people, and how they relate to their world and the work that they do. If it's just transactional, it's about just being. It's like human doing is transactional. Human being is relational, right?
Right.
And that's how I look at those things. I think do I just give a crap about you doing the things I need you to do to get the results? So therefore, you're doing it for my benefit, or do I care about helping you become who you're capable of and build a great relationship with you because I care about you first, not me first? And I think you find a difference in leadership and management. Managers. The old school thought of managers, you're doing, the manager wants you to do things so that they can look good.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the leader wants, help you to do things so you look good.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So.
And I guess what I'm saying here, and I guess maybe I'm speaking on behalf of some of our viewers, and is that that's a hard shift, right? Especially
Yeah.
when we've been trained and conditioned, that really what, especially in and we even have the whole vernacular, what's this is business, and business is
Right.
not, this is, so it justifies a lot of inhuman connection or interactions. That's why I use the word transaction very deliberately, in the
Yeah.
beginning, because it really becomes down to it's a stimulus response, input output, right? It's
Yeah.
cause and effect, return on investment is the whole model here. So I guess the question is like, for me, what's in it for a modern leader to make that shift? Why is it, what happens? What can a leader expect when they begin to make that shift? And why will it be so much better for them to, to start thinking and acting in this new way?
Yeah. Well, if you want to get more sustainable results and you want to have a more fulfilling life and career, and you want your people to, and you care about your people having their best year ever so you can attract and retain the best talent, and so on and so on, then yeah, definitely. And you want to leave a legacy about, when people remember their time in any role, they remember you. People don't leave organizations. We know this, right, Colin? They leave leaders.
Yep,
And
exactly.
so, if you want to be the leader that people, remember in their lives, that you're walking down the street 10 years from now and someone walks past and they go, Colin, oh man, like I've just, I've never forgotten you, and that how you helped me become the best version of myself. And I did my best work when we were together, and I'm off doing these things now. Like, the intrinsic reward should be more than enough. But if you want to also have sustainable business results, and like say, you want to attract the best talent, you want to retain the best talent, you don't want to have to do the thinking for everybody, that sort of stuff. You want your team to take
Really?
initiative. That well, then those
Yeah,
should be
yeah,
the immediate benefits.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that for just a minute before we dive into the model. But so beyond the intrinsic, like your life as a leader will
Yep.
be demonstrably better, right? Your quality
Yeah.
of life, will go up, because the
Yep.
drama, within your team will go down, right?
Yeah.
Your people will become more autonomous. They'll become more engaged. They'll become more creative, more innovative, right? Which is everything you want as a leader. So,
Absolutely.
by making the shift, it's in your personal best interest. Like, if you would like to sleep through the night, or you would like to not dread Monday morning, or Sunday evening, or have to work all weekend and clean up everybody's mess, then this is the way to go, right? Because
Yeah.
that is the old way of management has you trying to corral everybody, tell everybody what to do, and then
Yeah.
manage everything they're doing, and that just doesn't work today. So that's I think number one. Number two is, and the studies have been shown, right, that businesses that operate this way, with more of an empathetic leadership style, more of a coaching style in their leadership teams, and creating that connection between the individual employees' purpose and vision with the corporate purpose and vision, are much more productive. They
Yeah.
they differentiate in the market. They generate more profit. They create more sustainable and connected teams, and like you said, they attract the best talent. So I think it's without getting into the details, I mean, it's in your best interest as a leader to make this shift. And I would dare say, if you don't make the shift, you're going to get left behind. In fact,
Yes.
you're going to get run over. In fact,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. But as gruesome and cruel as that sound, and yeah, you're definitely going to get left behind, and if
yeah,
not run over.
yeah,
By all those people coming up fast from behind there who are actually working on all this
yeah,
stuff, and that going to attract the best talent. They're going to take people from your organization. They're going
yeah,
to be achieving, the tapping into the infinite capacity that we have for greatness as humans. They're going to be unleashing that potential. in their team that's laying dormant that you're already paying for, that's already there, but someone else is going to be able to tap into it better. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
so how do we do this, Dave? Let's walk through the model, the genius adaptation of the model that you've developed. I'm excited for our viewers to drink this in, and for those of you who are watching, this is really important stuff. Elements are focused and simple, but the implications are massive.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll go through the human behavior part, and we'll talk about that briefly and where the definition for leadership is embedded in here. But then I want to talk more about, and you jump in wherever, about the whole, leading different from the coaching point of view, not bossing point of view.
Yeah.
Right. We'll just give a highlight of some of the things in there. So let's just start about human behavior. If we, if leadership's all about helping others to become their best, to do their best while in our care and beyond, it would make sense then that we understand how people got to be who they are, so we can help them become more of what they're capable of. So this first thing I want to run through with everyone is the process for human behavior. All right. So first and foremost, success, however you choose to define that for yourself, has come from your results. So basically, I have accomplished these things in my life that culminate in this picture of success. Now, those results have come from the way I've behaved. I've taken certain actions that have got me the results and success I may not be enjoying in my life right now. Oops. Right? So we know that about human behavior. Now, where do we get the behaviors that we have then? Well, if you look in the Bible, the Greek philosophers and all the gurus have told us, as a person thinketh, think and grow rich. I think, therefore I am. Is that our attitudes drive our behaviors, and our attitudes are just our habits of thinking. So this thinking drove this actions, gets me these results, and that success I may or not be enjoying. Now, the attitude that we have, how did we get those then? Well, they were conditioned into us through a process of spaced repetition of a bunch of inputs from parents, teachers, media, society, people's opinions that you and I valued growing up, Collin, that we heard repetitively, caused me to think the way that I do, causing me to behave the way I do, getting me the results and success I may or may not be enjoying in life. That's human behavior. That's psychology 101. I was talking with some people here in America, and we're talking about how, isn't it funny how my family went to UCLA, so so my parents did, so I did, and my kids will, and or I was saying, like, my dad loved the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I love them, and my son Mitchell loves them, and because these conditioned beliefs that this is the team we follow.
Right.
You can get anything, political parties, sporting teams, beverage choices, you name it, whatever. These behaviors that we've learned throughout time. The thing people need to understand is that this happened to us when we were younger. As children, we had no say in the conditioning influences in which we received. But this is the secret to this is the fact that it's a process, right? You and I know that this is a process, and it's the process that got us to be who we are today is the same process we can use to become who we want to tomorrow. All we have to do is choose to change the inputs. So how would I then become more of what I'm capable of? Well, first I would go, well, what results would I like to have that I don't have right now? And I would look at what those things are. And it would be fair to say then, if I don't have those things, then I haven't become the person I need to become yet. So I would go, well, then who would I need to become to have those results? And then we go, well, how would that person then behave? Okay. So we'd go, okay, great. Well, if I want to have results I've never had before, I'll have to become this person or become more of what I'm capable of, basically. I don't have to become something I'm not, but I have to become more of what I'm capable of. Right. And then I would just map out how would that person behave. And of course, if we look at the word behave, it's just be and have together. But this is where most people stop, Collin, right? So this is we get there, we go, okay, I'm just gonna stop doing these things and start doing these things, right? Right.
Yep.
And so what happens when we try to change behavior with willpower? And we've seen the people who do the 90-day weight loss challenges. They'll lose with their PT standing over them, yelling and screaming, pumping one more weight and doing all this stuff. 90 days, they've lost all the weight. It's great. But then you see them 90 days after that, and they've usually put all that weight on and more.
Right.
Because dieting is just a holiday away from bad eating habits.
Mm-hmm.
If you see someone who's smoking, they says, "Oh, I'm going to quit smoking." Please tell them not to. And you're like,
Right.
"What? Tell them not to quit smoking?" Yeah, because they'll just be a smoker who's not smoking right now. What we want to encourage people to do is become a non-smoker, right? Because if you want to create a sustainable shift in behavior, what drives behavior? As we sit down here, how we think determines how we act. So this is where most people go wrong, is they don't sit there and go, well, what would be the thinking that would drive that behavior, that would get me those results and that success of becoming who I'm capable of?
Right.
And so this is really important for us. If we don't shift the thinking, the behavior will not sustain. We have an automatic pilot, all this programming and conditioning that we've had, we can act outside of it for a period of time, but it's kind of like an autopilot plane. I can grab hold of the wheel and steer for a while, but then as soon as I get distracted and let go, the automatic pilot kicks back in and it takes me back to my destination.
Right. Yep.
So this is how we become who we are and who we're capable of. And if we just take all that stuff there and we bring that down here and use that as the new inputs, and then again with spaced repetition to condition a new way of thinking,
right?
Guess what? We start to drive the new behaviors, getting the results and success that we're looking for.
Right.
So let's talk about in organizations here. Let's talk about the definition of leadership first. So our definition of leadership then comes from this. Leadership's all about helping other people. This is where the definition came from, right? Helping other people become the best version of themselves to do their life's best work while in mind. So fundamentally, this is leadership down here.
Right.
So my job is to help them take that thinking and use the same process that made them who they are today to use it with the new thinking to drive the new behaviors.
Right.
Right. Because so let's now break this down. Now that we understand where the definition came from. So when we look at this, is going to get messy. When we look at behaviors in organization, we you and I have experienced this in organizations in the past, Collin, right? Where behavioral, what do you call it? Performance management, where they go, hey, sorry, Dave, we have to put you on performance management. Well, this is where this comes from. And this will lead us into that whole leadership point of view, because it's performance leadership that we're looking for. But performance management is fundamentally this. We've identified these new behaviors, Dave, that we can do to get these results that we're looking for. Stop doing these things. Please start doing these things and get these results.
Right. Yep. Just do it.
And just do it. So then I start to try to do those things. Then I get distracted. Then I fall back onto old behavioral patterns. And then you come up, you say, Dave, I notice you're doing the same stuff again. We're not hitting the results. I told you once, you need to do these things to achieve these results. Make sure you do these. This is your first warning. And then we go through it again. The same process happens and I fall back on the same patterns.
Right.
And then so on and so on. Then it gets staged. Well, sorry, Dave, we're going to have to put you on performance management because you're not doing the things we need you to do to achieve the results we need you to achieve. Now, in that scenario, Collin, who's the only person who should be going on performance management?
In this situation, it's the performance manager who thinks that doing the same thing over and over again is going to get a different result. So
they're actually doing to that person exactly what that person's doing. They're doing the same thing as you said over and over. So then a person should go on performance management is the person putting the person on performance management because they do not know how to help other people become their best, to do their best while in their care and beyond.
Right.
So what's the difference between that and performance leadership? Well, performance leadership starts down here at the thinking. So here's performance leadership. If we go, hey, Collin, we've identified these new results that we'd like to achieve here that help you become who you are. We've identified the behavior that would drive that. We understand the thinking now that will drive that behavior. Then I see you behave like this.
Right.
I know the behavior that we're looking for. I know the thinking that would drive it. I can see the behavior you've demonstrated. What's the one thing that I don't know that I need to?
Yeah, what your thinking habits are, and how where those are aligned or misaligned with, with the instructions or with the goals.
Yeah, because if you were thinking in the way that we would be working on, you would have driven the right behaviors and got the results.
Right.
But because your behavior wasn't in line with that behavior, that shows me that your thinking wasn't in alignment. So performance
Right.
leadership, well, performance management attacks behavior. Performance leadership addresses thinking. So all I need to go is, hey, Collin, we talked about that behavior, and what was the thinking that would drive that? Oh, yeah, we would be applying our insight, Dave. We'd be anticipating and acting in advance here. Okay, great. Well, I noticed that you were reacting to a bunch of stuff recently. Hey, so tell me about that, because what I need to know is I know everything except for what you were thinking. Because what I'm trying to do is identify the gap between the thinking you have and the thinking that you need to have to drive the new results.
Right.
And so this is so I can actually what we call coach the gap, right?
Yep.
And then hopefully as we do this each repetition, that gap gets smaller and smaller and smaller. By time then, of course, then you're here doing this.
Yep. And the trick to coaching
and this
that
is why
gap. Yep.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the trick to coaching that gap is what we started out our conversation is seeing these people in your charge as real human beings, and recognizing that, like you, they really sincerely desire to become their best selves and to do their best work, and so this now becomes that opportunity for us to connect with that the human element, and I dare I say there are some core skills here that are relative to coaching, specifically like this concept of deep listening. And in a future conversation, I think we could dig into what are the elements of deep listening. But the primary element of deep listening is to be aware and conscious of what the person is saying to you, what behaviors are demonstrated, what they're saying, but then also the context, and then also to recognize the unspoken, right? The unspoken elements of what the situation is, and then 20%, so 80% is in that arena. 20% should be focused on what are the tools and resources, and how could you best ask a better question or a deeper question, or point them in a direction that can help them shift their thinking. So coaching is not about just bossing at a different level, right? It's about actually helping those people come to an insight themselves, and that insight that they come to through your facilitation becomes a cemented insight that now it changes the way that they think. So I think that's critical. So it's in that conversation, and to your point, it's over and over and over again. And changing any behavior, it's going to take, or attitude or thought process, it's going to take some time. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we want to touch on the how this looks from a coaching perspective?
Yeah,
like in terms of using organizational tools.
Sure. I was just touching on a couple of ideas there, and
absolutely. I think I'm conscious of time too, so whether we want to
totally
wrap up.
Maybe we come back to org structure next week when we're
maybe we just leave this as a teaser for all of you, just wondering what is all that stuff over there.
Exactly.
But I can assure you that the one thing here is this bit here.
Yes.
Right. When we start thinking about that new sense of what does performance leadership and coaching the gap look like, it's about becoming a coach, not a boss. So we'll leave that as a teaser. How's that sound?
That sounds great. I did give a couple of ideas on how to become more of a coach, but next week let's dive in deep on what that really looks like and how it feels. So cool.
Absolutely.
Dave, thank you so much for another inspirational, insightful, and active conversation. I'm really grateful for our collaboration, and again, for those of you who are watching and listening, if you have questions, you're interested in learning more, you'd like to to understand how to apply some of these ideas in your business and in your approach, reach out to us in LinkedIn or in our socials, and we would be more than happy to serve you. So with that, Dave, any final thoughts you want to toss in?
Yeah, no, I think what you've said there is really important, is that we have so many resources available to you. If you're watching this, you want to, look at this, learn more of the stuff. And also Collin and or I will graciously do a free whiteboard session. You can book in a calendar session to talk about your specific situation. Or if you're a leader out there, we have a new Facebook group. So facebook.com/groups/lead different. So it's where you can join that group, and I'll put the link down here in the chat, and you can go about joining that and really getting access to a lot more information as well.
Right.
And, participating with other people looking to lead different as well. So not only on the need to lead different, but what it looks like to lead differently. It's great to create a calling about it, but we need to show people what it looks like. So
amen. Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave. Until next time.
Group in here. Oh, maybe I'm not going to pop it in.
Okay.
My hotel Wi-Fi is choosing to be troublesome.
All right.
I'll put it in after the fact. I'll drop it in after the fact. But anyway.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Dave. And we will talk to you again next week.
Okay. See you, everyone. Thank you.